Hello world. So I was trying to like caption or I guess title this video, but I lost count how often we've gone live together. So we're just gonna say this is just our monthly podcast with Meredith and Matt. So please, if they don't know who you are, please tell us who you are again.
Hi, I'm Meredith Silverman. You might know me on Twitter as Archangel Crew. I have a blog, meredithsilverman.com, so please read it. You can be my seventh reader because I have like 6 right now. This is my lovely husband, Matthew. He has a blog as well at matthewfutter.com. Yep. Is that right?
Cheese and Matthew.
Yes.
Cheese and Futter, easy to find.
Just like butter, but with an F. And we're probably like Twitter's grandparents at this point.
Grandparents, yeah. Mom and dad, somebody else got it.
Twitter's mom and dad. But
We're delighted to be here.
And we're delighted to be here. Yes, we are.
That's so funny. Twitter's grandparents, that's so funny. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into the chase scene, right?
Okay. All right, ready.
So this past year, with COVID, it's been very distrusting of the healthcare system with the Tuskegee experiment, with the flu shots, etc., etc. Can we trust the World Healthcare Organization?
It's in this day and age, it's really difficult to trust anybody because here, can we scoot this over? Because I feel like I'm being like cut off. Okay. Hello. We're in. Here we are. And it's really hard to trust anybody in this day and age because there's not so much because I think I'm worried that people are lying to us, but I think that it's very hard to trust because medical science is constantly changing. We're constantly seeing variants of diseases. We're constantly seeing, look at, the flu. I think when in my science class in college, we talked about the flu and how it can mutate almost daily. So it's really hard to, and we would hope that something like the World Health Organization would have everybody's best interests in mind, so to speak, and be telling everybody the truth. But I think like any big corporation, I think we have to take what they say with somewhat a grain of salt and do as well as do our own research. What would you say?
Absolutely do our own research. In fact, it's funny you mentioned the flu. I did a blog a few years ago on the flu because one of my best friends had what they call the Martian death flu. Just the kind of thing where you can't sleep, you can't swallow, you can't drink water. It was terrible. And there's about 24 different variants of the flu then. I don't know if there are more now. I haven't done a follow-up to that, but I mean, that's when I learned that, oh, really? 24 different variants. Great. Which one we got today? And that's just the flu. And that's just something that we know that doesn't regularly kill people and hasn't a lot for the last 100 years. Then you come up with the vaccines and the Tuskegee experiments and everything else. And I think a place like the WHO that's supposed, as Meredith said, is supposed to have the world's interest at heart ought to be more balanced. But I don't know who the leadership of that place is either. I mean, we see a few faces, but I don't know all about who's funding it. I don't know who's responsible for it, who's screening what they say,
And these are also, I was thinking to myself, these are also human beings. And nobody's infallible. The idea is we want to trust everybody and we want to trust people as much as we can. But I think that we also have to realize that nobody's infallible and nobody is, nobody's God. We can't just take, concrete, that's it. And that's the way it is.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to add on that too is that from we have the WHO, we have the CDC, we have the White House, we have other governments, we have, I can't think of any more. I don't want to babble all day about that, but if you're getting a comprehensive narrative from all of these different sources and the science makes sense to you with your own research, I think at that point you can start to trust what they're saying or what they've said. Because if they came out with something new tomorrow, I would start researching that fresh. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's the best I can think of for why we could and maybe why we couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't send this to you guys, and forgive me for not saying this to you guys, but I have a question. So, do you think that our immune system varies by our region of the world?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I think that if like you're someplace with extraordinarily bad air, like I was raised in Los Angeles, they were, you know, everybody knows how bad the LA smog is. And
I was constantly getting sick as a kid. When I lived in a place where there was fresh, clean air all the time, I was like sick one time. I think our environment absolutely shapes our immune system. And that's why we have to, I noted, even living in Bakersfield, we have terrible air here, and I'm constantly trying to keep my immune system keep it strong. I mean, I take like emergency, I do all the things that, they say we're supposed to do to harness the full capability of our immune system. So I would definitely say yes, that, where our geographical location would definitely make for a good or bad immune system. I think that's only, I think that seems to be only logical.
I think it has to shape them. I mean, the idea of someone who's never exposed to anything, that will never be resistant to anything, they can't build up that strength. It's just like somebody who doesn't move. If you were in a terrible car accident, you were in traction for a year, obviously your muscles are going to atrophy. Same concept with your immune system. If you're not exposed to anything, it won't build up. But if you're overwhelmed with pollutants, then it can't get a good fight going either. So yeah. I was raised in the Southeast with lots of industrial pollution, but also millions and millions of trees. I tend to be healthy most of the time, but then I also learned to wash really well and take multivitamins every single day of my life.
Yeah, me too.
Listen to my body. But I mean, I'm in my 40s. So in my 20s and 30s, yeah, sorry, honey. In my 20s and 30s, I got sick a lot more often, even though it wasn't that often. And now I stay healthy most of the time, but I've learned all the stupid things that I did that got me sick, Yeah. Get some rest, drink a lot of water. If you're dehydrated, if you're too tired, if you're too stressed about something, that wears down your immune system too. Yeah. So all these factors have a constant throw in it, but I think all of them, everything that you grow up with shapes it too.
Okay, so now going back to COVID, what is the difference between the vaccines? Because there's like three, right?
One goes in your left arm.
Huh?
No? I said one goes in your right arm, one goes in your left arm.
You're so funny.
No, go ahead.
I'll give you the nerd answer. That was the funny answer. I'll give you the nerd answer. So the Pfizer BioNTech and the Moderna vaccines are the 2-dose vaccines. Those are made with messenger RNA. Now, the short version is the novel coronavirus has this spike protein that causes it to infect cells really easily. It's incredibly good at getting into your cells. That's what makes it so contagious. Those two vaccines actually tell your cells to grow just the spike protein. Nothing to infect you, nothing to kill any cells, just grow the spike protein. But then they also say, here's what I want you to do, and now attack it. It's like boot camp for your cells. Your immune system gets this and goes, okay, really, great. But I think it wears out too quickly, because a good immune response in 4 weeks will have eradicated it completely. So you get a second dose 4 weeks later or 30 days later.
Right.
Then you get the booster and it goes, whoa, we've seen this before. And it's like getting a tetanus booster shot years later. Your system goes, I know what this is, and mounts a big immune response. Then you develop immunity. Johnson & Johnson uses an actual virus as a vector. It's like a cold virus. It's an adenovirus. The J&J vaccine is just like getting any other, like a polio vaccine. You just get a one shot, your immune system goes, oh yeah, we'll kill off these viruses and you're done. They're not, it does the same thing with the spike protein, but it's on a reasonably harmless virus instead.
I wonder if that's why some people get stronger reactions and some people don't.
Probably so, and some of the factors that Ashley pointed out. So.
Yeah.
Because like after you get the flu shot, some people get sick.
Yeah. I know when the polio vaccine was invented, when Jonas Salk took a very, 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 very mild form of polio
and injected it into the test subject. And so when they were able to create an immune response, they were able to, fully form a vaccine. So that's why people get a little sick. But I've learned that I've gotten the flu shot after having the flu 2 years in a row. And mind you, this is a long time ago. And having the flu a couple of years in a row and getting a flu shot, I'd rather have an immune response from the flu shot and feel crummy for a day rather than get the flu and just feel like that was the worst. Oh my Lord, that was the worst sick I ever was. I thought I was, boiled death in the microwave, man. I thought I was going to die. It was horrible. I mean, horrible. So yeah, I think that's all we're going to say about that. Let me not sit here and ramble.
Okay, so dislikes.
Oh Lordy, here we go.
So
Let's go off.
it's well, Matthew, you're pretty active on Instagram, right?
I'm not very active. Sorry.
So
I used to be very active on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram anymore, but I used to be. I've been kind of following the whole thing about dislikes and hiding dislikes and hiding likes and all that stuff.
And I think I know where you're going, actually. So go ahead.
On Instagram, they're hiding comments when you're scrolling. Yeah.
On purpose.
So
Okay.
So YouTube just deleted 2.5 million dislikes from Biden's White House videos. So also YouTube is testing a new design to hide dislikes in general. It's very similar to how like Instagram is hiding comments.
Right.
And also very similar to how you guys are on TikTok. But you can't dislike stuff on TikTok. It's all this comment or like or just keep scrolling. But regardless, like they're getting that view. But like anyway, is this progressive or coddling?
I think with all the negativity that's been in the world, I think I'm kind of two minds about this. I mean, everybody should, wants to be free to express an opinion, but a lot of people will be a lot more critical than they would be kind, I think. And some people are just like critical for sport. You could say hello, and some people are like, who are you saying hello to? Why didn't you say hello to me? How come you said hello to this person over here? Why don't you laugh? I don't like that. I'm going to be mad at this and that and the other thing. And the people will like lose their mind. I'm just like over here going, holy crap, I just said hello. That said, I think that, it's with all the negativity in the world right now, it's probably, it may be not such a bad idea because, I mean, people will invest their whole lives on likes and dislikes. The people will feel like they're a failure if they write a tweet that doesn't go viral or they make a video that doesn't. That would be me. But people, I think people are, if we can engage more positivity in the world, it would probably be a good thing. That said, I don't know about the hiding. Like I said, I have two minds about this because hiding likes almost feels like not engaging in free speech.
Yeah, well, just hiding dislikes.
Or hiding dislikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to hide dislikes, they should hide likes and dislikes. You know what I mean? Because that's, I mean, really, nothing is sunshine and rainbows all the time. It used to be, I remember way back in the day, you used to have to get a special hack program to be able to dislike stuff on Facebook, and it wound up being a virus that ate your computer, but hiding likes and hiding dislikes, is that progressive? I don't know. I just think that in terms of kind of trying to cull away from the negativity in the world, what do you think?
I really like the old cliche, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, unless it's your friend asking for constructive feedback or an editor who you hired to professionally critique your work.
Yeah.
I think if something, if a post or a video doesn't get a lot of likes, I think, there's something on Twitter we call being ratioed. If you post something and it gets 10 likes but 100 comments, presumably that's people trashing you, because you can't dislike something on Twitter. You can only either click the heart or not. So if you have 10 times the comments that you have likes, usually that's a sign of dislikes. There are ways to express that. Hiding the dislikes on YouTube, for example, I don't know if they released a statement when they deleted all those, or if they just kind of went away without comment and somebody noticed it and wrote a piece about it. If it's part of their policy because they found out that 5 accounts put 250,000 or a million dislikes or whatever, great. Yeah, those were trolls. Those were trolls and bots and people who were
I wonder if they're
just being absurd.
Combat cancel culture with that kind of thing.
I don't know.
It's really hard to say. I mean,
we'll have to see where their pilot program goes.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes, because I mean, people can be cruel. People can be just absolute 100% vile. So
I don't know. I think, and then there's also the people who'll be like, oh, all these people, 2.5 million dislike me. Oh, look at all my haters. Okay.
So follow-up question then. Do you think that people like comedians, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Do you think that the trolls are helping them become famous?
Famous? Yes. Better? Not necessarily.
Yeah, I'd say that because people can be propelled to fame by people hating on them. You know, there's people who have made terrible mistakes. And what oh here what was it? Every day there's a main character on Twitter, and your aim is not to be that main character. That's, because that's the person that everybody's trashing. I mean, people have been made famous by being trashed, and I think that's something that needs to just, like giving a lot of these mass shooters. I mean, yeah, the news is going to report them, but you give them their attention and you give them the notoriety, and there's a bunch of like copycat people doing all this, and so
they don't matter, and they don't, nobody sees them. Well, they're going to see this now, and then my face will be splashed all over the news. And oh my God,
So I think that trolls making people famous, that needs to stop. That needs to stop. It's like, if we, it would be nice to go back to what you said, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. I mean, there's, I'm sure you've seen the whole reply guy phenomenon on Twitter. I mean, I had somebody, even today, I had somebody, DMX, he's in a coma right now. He's in the hospital. And I said, I love DMX. I am praying for this man. I mean, I did a term paper on DMX. I love him. And I said under one of the articles, praying for a miracle. And somebody came on and said, are you really praying? Are you just talking? I was like, and you were who? And I'm just like, I know it was somebody to just try to get me to engage, but I don't have time. I'm just like, click. I do not have time for it. I'm not entertaining no foolishness today. And that's, I think, what the trolls are doing, is they are just entertaining this foolishness and taking it to a level that nobody ever saw before.
True. Okay. Very important question. Very selfish question.
Okay.
Are they going to forgive student loan debt? And if they are, is that and if they are, is that a good idea?
Yes, it is. And let me tell you why.
Hope they are definitely good idea.
Hope they are definitely good idea. I actually read an article recently about people who have had their student loans on hold. They have been able to pay off their homes, pay off their credit cards, buy things. Everybody's all, President Biden talks about building back better. Well, we can't build back better unless we have an economy to build it back better into. Forgiving student loans would give the economy I think, an absolute kickstart, because, first of all, college is horrifyingly expensive. I saw an article where a woman had $140,000 of student loans left, and that was after 10 years. And that's like $1,500 a month. That's a house payment. If they want to have people, that is a good house payment. Because of student loans right now, people are not able to buy homes. They're not able to buy cars. They're not able to have families, because if they have to go to work, daycare is expensive. 20 years ago, daycare was like $900 a month. I don't even know how much it is now. But I had a friend at work who was telling me, and this was about 20 years ago. She says, "Oh God, my daycare is $900 a month." They said, "That's my rent." Good luck finding rent for $900 a month now, but like I said, that was 20 years ago. So I think it would be an absolute boon to the economy that if they were able to forgive student loans. And also because I owe $20,000, and that would be nice if it was forgiven.
Education and health are the kind of things that you want to invest in that make people more productive. I mean, I don't know if you just said this or if we were talking about it earlier, but that's money people could spend right now on things, paying for other people to make things and sell things and perform services.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't have your house upgraded, what if you need to, or what if, I don't know, you need maintenance done. You broke a window, something's falling apart. You need somebody to come in and fix that. But if you have to pay for it, or if your landlord has to pay for it, and said person is paying off student loans, they might decide to wait, and then it just falls apart worse.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just maintenance and upkeep. Never mind.
I think people won't go to the doctor. People won't get their health in order, because all they think is, do I eat, or do I pay
my student loan, or do I pay my rent? And unfortunately, college, the way they do student loans, it's completely, you can get in over your head like that. you think, oh, great, I have all this, I know it's not free money, but it feels like free money because while you're in school, you don't have to pay it back. But then once you're out of school, bam, here it comes, for years and for at least 10 years. And I thank God don't owe that much. But for people who owe like $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, that's a huge chunk. I mean, I saw, honestly, like I said, $1,200 to $1,500 payments, which could go way other places and I think would help to build back the economy if they forgave student loans so people could spend their money on the stuff that really mattered,
Yeah. Even with low interest, I mean, that stuff settles you for years and years and years.
I'm in for 10 years right now.
Right?
Yeah.
I hear you. I had two older sisters when I was growing up, and they both went to college, and they both took out massive student loans. One of them had already graduated and was looking at how long it was going to. She's like, oh, 18, 20 years, I'll pay this off. It'll be fine. And that's when I went to college. And I had a scholarship that was this big. And when that scholarship ran out and it was time to take out those student loans, I dropped out and went to work.
Yeah.
I was like, I will come back and do this later if I know what I need and I can pay for it. Right now, I ain't got no money and I need to make something.
That's I quit when I realized that I was going to be, a bachelor's was going to cost me probably close to $40,000, and I quit with an
AA. And I'm like looking at my degree and I'm like, great, I got a $20,000 piece of paper on my wall. Terrific. It's true.
It's very true. It's very true. Okay. So next question then. What's the 21 and 21 vlog?
Sir, you want to take that one?
Well, 21 and 21 is a blog series that we decided to write about 21 things that we are looking forward to being better this year than they were last year.
I can never get to write.
You know what? Life throws you curveballs and things come up and you take care of stuff. But
yeah.
We only posted a couple of them so far, but there's a hashtag on each of our sites, and you can hashtag 21IN21 on Twitter, and you'll pull them right up. So
yeah.
But yeah, that's it's a series that we decided to write because 2020 was so much bad news all day, every day. People hating on everybody, people dying. It was a disaster. It was disaster after disaster, while people who made it through are still just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And so 21 and 21 was designed to focus on something that either was better or could be better, and talk about how and why.
Continue to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Like curbside pickup.
That was number one.
And also we decided, because I'm always thinking about, I always think to myself, what am I going to write about? I don't know what to write about. And so we decided we were going to pick a bunch of things to write about, so we would at least kind of have our own set of
writing prompts, but that's, again, anyway, coming out with a new blog soon. Okay, stay tuned.
I love it. Okay. So I don't know how I came across this, but I came across something that said tweets may feel like conversation, but they're judged like writing. Do you agree on this?
Absolutely. Right. People will judge you for a typo. They'll judge you for using the wrong tense. They'll judge you for, just like we are expected to be.
There, you're.
And it's tough because it is like conversation. It's very much like a conversation, and it's just like you said, a conversation in writing. And yeah, people do judge you on said writing, and all we can do is the best we can do. But I think it sucks that people judge. But hell, I do it. I'm not innocent. I'm not going to sit there and point it out, But I'll be like, oh well, okay. But then I think to myself, okay, well, who am I to judge?
Exactly.
Me, the one who writes the way I talk, and
which makes it eminently readable. A verbal conversation, you overlook stuff. You have a natural flow. If you miss a word, if you slide past something, you have faces, you have body language, you're listening, you're in the moment. Your awareness can transcend the words. When it's reduced to writing on Twitter, then or anywhere, all you have is the words. Right now.
And you don't know the inflection, you don't know you don't know the what's behind those words, and I'm so it's really, we shouldn't judge. It's like my mom used to tell me, don't fight over text. Don't fight with your boyfriend over text. I've been like, why not? Because he doesn't know what you did. I was like, fight over text. But they, when we don't have, it's easy to judge just writing when we don't know the emotion behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I find that I've been doing this for the past since I've been vlogging, where Gary Vee said post and then go back and edit what you said. So like I'll read back what I said. I was like, oh, this is supposed to be like a T. This is supposed to be a capital letter, and I didn't notice that I was doing that because I didn't want someone to grammatically correct me. So should I stop doing that?
I think if you're doing something in a professional capacity, you want to do your best, but that people are, I mean, you're going to make typos. I mean, unless you have an editor going over every post that, and, that you have, because I'm sure that a lot of people on Twitter, they don't just tweet. They have, I mean, I'm like talking about famous people. They don't just have they just tweet. Some of them have like teams, or some of them have like social media managers and stuff like that, or they can hand their assistant and say, hey, read this, make sure I did, I would just say do your best. And but I think at this point, if you forget to capitalize something or forget to dot an I or cross a T, that, I mean,
Yeah.
if anybody gets on you for that, come on.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
that's what the block button is for.
Cut a person some slack.
You can mute them without even blocking them if you just don't want to hear it every day.
I mean, I always think to myself, I try to cut people slack, because I mean, it's hard. You don't know what somebody's going through.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, and to just, fly up somebody's ass because they missed a word or doubled a word or used the wrong tense or something. I'm just like, let me just.
I would like to make a play one day where everything is grammatically incorrect. And as the audience member, like you know what the correct thing is, so like it doesn't bother you because like you know what they meant.
Yeah,
I'd be the first one in line.
Me too.
Be there opening night.
Yes.
Anybody?
What I meant to say. And there's your title.
Oh, so let's talk about. Oh my God, I was gonna say Kate. Her name's not Kate.
Megan.
What's her name? Megan. Why is that? I feel so bad now. Megan and
Harry.
Harry. God, why is that?
Yeah.
The interview with. Yeah. Did you? Matthew didn't watch it.
Actually, I only saw it. I wanted to watch the interview, but it was on a channel that I think it was on the Oprah's network.
Yeah.
That I don't think I get that. And I was like, dang it! But I saw a lot of the excerpts on Twitter, and yeah.
So, do you think that transparency, when it comes to something as, dare I say, biblical as that, comes before privacy? Yeah.
It's hard to say when you're in a position when you're in a public position, you're living your life in a fishbowl, and I mean, every eye is on you. Everybody's going to criticize you. Everybody's going to go open their mouth with an opinion, got quote Tupac, but it's true. Everybody's got to open their mouth with an opinion, and they will come at you right and left. That said, if people, how am I trying to say this? People, I would think, generally have a right to privacy. I mean, you wouldn't want to be in the bathroom and have like somebody in your window going, "Hey, what are you doing in there?" But why are you doing that? But there is a certain degree of, I think that people should act authentically, whether they're in private or they're in public. I mean, if you are like this saintly person in public, but in private you're doing this, that, and the other thing, doing all kinds of dirt, then, and somebody, opens that up on you, then you deserve what you get. That said, it's really hard to be a public figure. Ideally, you want them to be transparent, but you really don't know what happens when the camera turns off and the door is closed, and what people are really like in their private life. That said, once somebody is basically famous, they have no privacy anymore. They have no privacy. That's the name of the game. And on the internet, what do they say? Screenshots are forever. So that's, act accordingly. It's like some dude said to me, well, send me a nude. I'm like, no, hell no. So you can flash it all over the internet, but I'll delete it. No, you won't. I'm not, no.
The other side of the whole transparency thing.
Nobody wants to see that anyway.
We're moving on. The other side of the transparency thing is that if you are, for something like government leaders, for people who have power over other people's lives, I think transparency does supersede privacy. Not eliminate it, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, people need to know who's in charge of their lives, who's making these decisions that affect their real life. So for somebody like the royals, I think when they're royals, I think transparency has a lot to do with it. If they say, we don't want to be involved in the royal family because we want our life, at that point, they're saying, we're going to close the door on this. We'd like some privacy now. And I'd be cool with that if they're no longer in a position to make policy, like Congress people, like the president. I'm glad the president has some privacy, but, I like knowing about his morning walks and him playing with his dogs and stuff. It's cool. It makes him relatable. It makes me understand what kind of a guy he is. And I mean, that goes for better or for worse. We've had a lot of different presidents in my lifetime, and some of them I've known more about than I wanted to, and some of them I've really wondered, what on earth are they doing all the time? Where was Dick Cheney all those years? Nobody knows. Anyway. But I think for private figures, privacy is vital. If you can't be alone with your thoughts, that's one thing. But if you become a celebrity, I think you kind of make that trade-off. If you want to be famous, I think you're giving that up on purpose. And it's like Pandora's box. You can't put it back. So.
Well, and the also thing is, the whole thing about practicing what you preach. If you're going to say one thing in public and do another thing in private, that's not good. Then that's where
transparency reveals that, this is not the person you think they are. Right. So, that I think we need to I think everybody just needs to be, transparency is good up to a point. Everybody, that's the reason why we don't have like a windshield on our foreheads and everybody can see our thoughts. Wow. So, but again, once you become famous, or you trade it off. Privacy becomes a very guarded. You guard your privacy.
Absolutely. There's one more thing that you have said before a
No.
lot.
What's that?
And you've heard it. Don't meet your heroes.
Oh man, don't meet your heroes, because
don't meet your heroes and expect to walk away with the same view you had of them when you put them up here on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You may find out that there's a lot you didn't know about.
Yeah, and then that's when transparency can be like, oh wow, okay, I didn't want to open that window. So I think it's just like everything else, it's a balance.
Wow. Yeah. Oh man.
Some people turn out really well, by the way. I'm not saying don't ever meet your heroes. I'm saying just don't expect things to remain the same if you do.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, you're going to get to know them better. And if you had a very specific idea of how they were, prepare to have it shattered. It may be.
Yeah, definitely.
They may be cooler than you ever thought. And then, they may be having a really rotten day, and then that's what you think of them from now on, and that's not really who they are either. So, again, balance.
Yeah, balance.
Oh, man. So I guess I'll never see Oprah then. Okay.
You'll meet Oprah, Ashley. I think she'd love you.
No, I don't want to see her now.
I have a lot of people like that, too. Like some celebrities I won't even follow because I'm afraid to know what they're like.
Or I'm afraid I might say something and they'll take it as, oh my God, this girl is just, and I'm afraid to interact with some people because I'm like, they don't, how I am. I write the way I talk and I get, oh my blah, flip, and then anyway, move right.
Okay, so a popular phrase is, if you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be afraid of what people will find. How can we fix social media so we can have fun, market, sell, etc., but also maintain our privacy, technically, in a technical sense?
Right.
I think that, do you want to take? Okay. I think that the thing about that is that you have to, how am I trying to say this? There is no privacy on the internet. There's always somebody, marketing for your data or, doing that. You can say, I want a Fendi purse. And all of a sudden Facebook is like, bling, here's a Fendi purse. I assume that Big Brother or Big Sister or Big AI or big whatever. There, that somebody, you're always being watched by somebody at some time. That said,
not necessarily in the creepy sense, although that happens,
right,
but in the sense of what we choose to share online is
right,
sifted through by 50,000 companies who all want a piece of that action. How can I get some of their dollars? Oh, what if they'll like this?
Right. That said, I think
that we can keep social media fun by telling, by showing people only as much as you're willing to show them. It's really, and keeping private, I am an oversharer. I've learned not to be, because people will take that information and they will use it against you. That said, I think we should, there's an old phrase, a secret's not a secret if you tell somebody. You think you're DMing with somebody privately, the next thing you know, they're flashing that all over, screenshots are forever. And, so really we would like, having a semblance of privacy is important. But I think it's a personal responsibility to not necessarily overshare or keep what we want private.
I have something that I started saying about 20 years ago. No, not at all. I thought of something. I never say anything behind somebody's back that
I wouldn't say it in their face.
If even compliments, because I found if I compliment someone too much without telling them what I think, invariably they're gonna screw up the next day, and then I feel like it's my fault. I feel like I jinxed them. So if I praise somebody, boy, the next time I see them, man, I gotta tell them about it.
Yeah.
By the way, I was bragging on you the other day, and here's why. And you're really good at such and such. And I just wanted you to know. And then it goes fine. Then they just keep doing a good job. They feel better. They know I'm telling the truth, and everybody works. At the same time, I won't trash somebody if I wouldn't say it out loud. If it's not a secret, I'm telling the truth about something. Hey, don't let so-and-so handle this. They haven't been trained on it. They're not good at this. Or, maybe this person doesn't even like to cook. Why are you trying to get them to help you with the cupcakes? I don't know, whatever.
I think again, there's a balance between assuming you have no privacy on the internet to begin with, and then being, responsible enough with yourself to not
overshare. And if you do, well, you apologize, I guess, and move on. Or if but there's, I did see the one thing that sticks out in this conversation to me, is assume that you have no privacy on the internet. That's why I won't go back to Facebook. Facebook is so freaking invasive, but that's, again,
I'm locked down pretty tightly, but I know they already know everything about me.
I mean, if I was really worried about people, what I was saying on Twitter, I'd lock my account up. That way I don't say anything, just like saying something to a group of people. I don't say something on Twitter that, is a secret. You know what I mean? That I wouldn't say in public. If you wouldn't say it in public, or you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, don't say it on the internet. Don't be that guy, or that girl, or that Eddie. Make sure everybody, I don't want to, anyway.
No, and you're right. And that's the whole point. You wouldn't pick on a certain group of people because you would never do that in real life. So you don't do it on Twitter.
No, absolutely not. Say as much as you are willing to share with 1 million people, 7 million people, the whole population of the planet. Is it 7 million? Oh, we are crowded. Anyway.
So follow up to that question then. How do we sell to people without feeling guilty then?
Well, like, are we talking like cold calls? Are we talking like, or just in general? I mean, I think if you're selling a product that people want, well, let me ask you this. What do you mean by feeling guilty? Like feeling guilty for like bothering them if you're trying to sell them something?
Like selling merchandise, selling like food products. Like, how do you sell without feeling guilt?
I like food.
Me too. The sweet spot of selling to people without ever feeling bad about it is finding, and that is the sweet spot. This is what you're aiming for, is finding the people who need it and a good product. The right people and the right product or the right service. That's where you can win. That's when you're doing right. People have needs all the time. The idea of a salesperson is to discover those needs, not to make the hard sell and squeeze blood out of a stone and run off with and now they can't feed their families because they had to buy a couch. That doesn't help anybody except the salesperson. And then if they can't sleep at night, that doesn't help anybody at all. So, if you are cold calling somebody, if you're trying to sell stuff, you're going to interrupt them all day long. So be as quick as you can without being rude, If they're not interested, if they know what you're selling and they're not interested, move on. Same with people in person. If they are interested, if they have a question, boom. Let me tell you why I love this. Let me tell you why this is so cool. Does that sound like something you would enjoy? Can't you picture this in your house? You know, stuff like that. I've been in sales for a long time. I'm not specifically in sales right this minute, but it's always been a part of my career for decades now. So I've learned a few things.
And also when you believe in your product
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, and you come across with like, you know, I think this is, let me tell you why this product is amazing and check it out. And then I think this is something you might like when you come across,
because I've had, you know, the people in Costco or my friends that say, and I am notorious to be like, try this, like, no, try this TV show, no, I don't want. But when somebody comes at me with you know, or you know, engages me and says, hey, I have this product, it's fantastic, let me tell you why, and let me show you, and let me give you examples, and then you can decide for yourself, then you're taking the onus off of you, and you're putting it, you know, you're not putting it on the other person, but you know, you're kind of putting the ball in their court, and then they can decide if they want to buy said product or stuff like that. But you know, but when it's the hard sell, that's like, or they use your name like 3,000 times in the sentence. Hey, Ashley, let me tell you about this product, Ashley. You know, by the way, Ashley, do you have time? Oh my God, I worked with a guy like that. I was just like,
I can tell you heard that.
That's how we were taught. That's how we were taught. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense now, though. Wow. I wish you guys were my manager. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Can I throw two more things in there in your last question? We have just one more.
Yes. Two more things. Okay. So, if he controls your ideas, he will soon control your actions because every action is preceded by an idea. How can we trust whose ideas are for our better well-being or to make us weak?
gut instinct. And also
which comes from experience, and sadly sometimes bad experiences.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't control what people do, only what they know. Which kind of falls from the sales straight into your next question there too. You can't change what people do. You can only change what they know. So if you feel like someone's telling you the truth, if they come up and they have answers to your questions before you even have questions, it's probably a hard sell or a con, because they've prepared for that.
And then there's the whole now or never thing.
Oh,
you ever been somewhere and like, let's say you're buying a car, for instance. I mean, you know, everybody knows a lot of car salesmen are notorious for the hard sell. They want to sell you that car because they want to make that commission, and they don't care if that car will come off that lot and 2 seconds later the transmission falls out. They don't give a shit. They're done. They're sold you the car. That said, when somebody's giving you the real hard sell and they want to tell you it's now or never, always never. If they don't give you the grace of time, say, hey, can I think about this overnight? Or hey, can I look this over? Or hey, can I get 24 hours to make a decision? Oh no, you have to do it right now. Bye.
No.
Say bye.
You know, anyone who's trying to rush you, who's trying to keep you from thinking it over, who's trying to keep you from considering the results, unless it's a literal life or death situation. If your house is on fire, get out. But I mean, if it's not, take time to think it over, and then you can find out what your gut says.
Yeah, it was like if
it feels like, wrong.
Hey, I have an idea. Let's go to China or something, and I'm like, but it's COVID,
and we'd have to quarantine, and we haven't gotten our second vaccine yet. No, we gotta go to China right now. That's a bad idea.
Because she'd be right.
I mean, or anywhere, not, to just travel to some, if they, we got to do it right now. We got to,
let's take a 5-day trip across the sea, and we're going to have to spend 14 days in quarantine. We can't do that right now.
Yeah.
That's obvious if you have a minute to think about it.
Right.
If you don't, almost anybody can tell you anything by talking over you and rushing you into it. I've had it happen to me.
Exactly. So
I've seen it happen, and it's ugly, and it's rude.
And that's something somebody should feel guilty about. That's how you can tell
somebody's trying to con you, or just reach a hand into your wallet and and not really caring about the actions of their ideas.
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
If their idea is not good for you, you'll be able to tell.
Yeah.
Think it through, visualize it in your head. If it's something they want you to do, if it's something that they want you to buy, if it's something they want you to throw out, imagine doing that. And then see if you feel lighter and more hopeful and happier, Or if you feel heavy and anxious and it tightens up in your chest, that's your gut. That's 95% of the time, that's your gut right there giving you the answer you need that you asked.
Yeah.
And if they won't give you that time, if they won't give you just a little bit of space to consider it, try to get that space. Back away. Say no.
Yeah.
Assume they're trying to handle you.
Even if somebody insists that this is going to help you and this is going to this and this is going to that, you know, that's up to you to determine. Yeah. You know, it's like if Matthew said to me, "This is going to help you." How's it going to help me? Well, it's just going to help you. Let me go do my own research and then we'll talk about
right.
That. But that's
how I found, because I've had experience with this, and I'm a generally, or used to be a generally trusting person. And then I've had experiences where people have given me the hard sell and have given me the, you got to do this right now. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I did it right now. I got burned. So that's, I've learned to give consideration to ideas before I turn them into actions. Time is important when doing that, you know, because
like a good recipe, it has to cook a little bit and make sure it smells right. Then you can.
There you go. Yeah.
You consider taking a bite.
If it don't smell good, don't eat it.
That's a really good tip. Okay, so where can we like you guys, stalk you, all that fun stuff?
You can like me on Twitter at Archangel Crew. You can find my blog at meredithsilverman.com.
I'm on Twitter at Lighting Flashes, not lightning, lighting, like photography. Lighting Flashes and MatthewFutter.com.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
And when we do
these wonderful talks, you can find us here too. With our
and then also final question. I'm nervous to ask this. Can we do like a monthly podcast?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Totally. We're in.
We would be delighted.
We agree now. That's a good idea.
Right now. Yes, we don't have to take the time to think about that. That is a good idea.
All right, let's say yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Two thumbs up.
4 thumbs up.
4 thumbs up. I'm sure Stanley would put his thumb up, but he's over at his food bowl right now.
Behind us, he's not very visible.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this discussion. I think that this is going to help people think for themselves, but like I think in a healthy way that's not going to harm themselves. Hopefully.
That's the idea. Yeah. You can benefit from our experience. So.
With the recent, there was a cop who was he shot or stabbed this past weekend?
I think he was stabbed. The guy who drove his car into a barrier and then jumped out with a knife.
Yeah.
He was stabbed.
Oh, yeah.
One died and one went to the hospital and might recover.
Yeah. It makes me think to myself, who was in your circle? Was there no one there who should be like, hey, man,
this is not something you have to do, dude.
Yeah. And I think that we need to be more conscious of our circle, because it's nice to talk about conspiracies. You know, it's nice, it's fun, but practically it's like
you want to keep people around you who are going to lift you up rather than drag you down.
Yeah. Just like, hey man, just go to sleep. You know, like,
go drink some water and go watch Speed Racer and go to sleep.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for this.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys soon.